Welcome, everyone. It is another episode of Diary of a Professional. This is Lou here.
Ashley.
And we will introduce you to our guests, Ketlynne and to Sean from Ubuntu Learners. We'll get into that. But of course, as per usual, we will get into our gratitudes. Ashley, you want to go?
Yes. So I am grateful to have a job I guess let's put it this way. When you've been there for a while, you kind of know what to do and not to do, or what you can get away with, what you can't get away with. So I'm grateful I have a job where I could just kind of sneak in a half hour later, that I could just get a little extra bit of sleep sometimes in the morning. I know that's bad to say, but I take advantage of it. But I'm happy I'm able to maneuver some things when I need to, just because the winter time, you kind of want to stay in your bed a little longer. It's hard to get out that bed. So I'm kind of grateful for that, learning what I can and cannot do quietly.
I love that. I love it. Listen, speaking of that, you know what? Because I will prioritize sleep over, I'd rather be well rested and I'll stay hungry. I don't care. I don't got time. The people who put on makeup before work, I don't know how y'all do it, because that's just, to me, it's calculating hours and minutes that I'm not getting of sleep. So I'm grateful for, the versatility that I am afforded as a Black woman with my hair, because that takes time too. And that takes over my sleep time. And I love the ability to, if I have my braids in, if I have some faux locks, if I throw in a wig, she don't got to think about nothing. I'm not styling anything because, no, I'm not making time for it. Okay. So I am thankful for that. All right. Which one of you ladies want to go?
I'll go.
All right.
I am grateful for opportunity. So whether it be opportunities that come my way, opportunities that come to in the direction of people who are close to me, or opportunities that I'm able to give now, that's a new thing, transitioning into that. I love it. I really love the feeling I get when there's a new opportunity. I love the feeling I get when I get to share an opportunity, and it's almost addictive. So I'm super grateful for that.
I love that.
Nice. I think that mine kind of piggybacks a little bit off of that. And it's funny because we didn't talk, but I'm grateful for the ability to create the future that I really desire. Literally, I'm in a transitional space. And it is not easy, but I can make intentional decisions about where I want to go, where I want to be, who do I want to interact with. And I'm getting so many chances to speak with like-minded people that I did not know existed. So it's continuously reinvigorating. It's continuously rejuvenating. And so I'm grateful, because I had one of those conversations really recently, and it's almost like fuel. You can create this. You can create the world that you want. So
I love that. Sometimes it feels like it's almost telling you, yep, you're going in the right direction. Yep, everything is aligning.
Yes.
Oh, can't we?
It's crazy because we did not talk about this. And that is crazy. Because that's exactly.
Oh, yes. Well, hopefully in part of, everything reinvigorating and everything, it is related to Ubuntu Learners, which is your nonprofit organization. So I want you guys to tell us what it is about, what does it mean, and what does it mean to you?
Ubuntu Learners. So Ubuntu comes from a term that is very, very influential in the South African community, specifically in the Zulu language. And it literally means I am because you are, or I am because we are. And it's calling to all humanity. It's when we live in our best and authentic selves, when we honor the gifts that we have, we are then allowing others to operate in that space as well. And it allows for a space of respect and a space of just being your truest and highest self. And once again, creating the future that you want. So we really started this organization because we felt that the traditional school system, and full transparency, I've been an educator for 17 years plus, it just doesn't really encourage people to be their true and authentic self, especially young people of color, young Black children. So we came together and we kept discussing about the world that we want to see, the world we want to see for Tashawn's kids and for the kids that are coming through. And Ubuntu just echoed that. They have so many gifts that they were born in this world with. They came here with talents. They came here with things that will get squashed if we don't nurture them. And so we're at Ubuntu Learners, and we're teaching them to do that every day.
That was so good.
Ooh. So tell us, what made you come together? Like, where did it come from? Like, tell us all the details.
So we've been friends since 2020 plus years. Put it that way.
Okay. You can't even keep count anymore. That's fine.
Yeah. We've known each other a mighty long time, and we've always bonded over education and Blackness, and not Black American, like Blackness in its entirety. And I think we were on a connection that was very African before we put those words to it, right? So our connection was like, oh, my family does this, my family does that, and just really gluing that together with the community that we saw centered around us. We both went to school in the Atlanta University Center. And so we went to two different universities, but we were always able to connect on a level that was transcendent of our schools might rival each other sometimes. And it just never really mattered. So I loved that. And we came together because it kind of was like a conversation. It was like a catch-up conversation, like you get on the phone with your friend. And I said, I have this crazy idea, and I'm just telling you. And she goes, what? And she said, I didn't tell anybody else, but I have this crazy idea. And then it was kind of like, yo, our ideas could be one idea. So it was just amazing how from the very beginning, it just worked together. It was that Ubuntu spirit from the very beginning. And she said to me, Sean, like, why don't we name it Ubuntu? And I was like, I don't know what that means. Tell me about it. And as soon as she said it, it was like, wow, that's it. This is it. There could be no other name for what we want to do. There could be no other just tie-in. Like, this can be done with anybody else. Like, Ketlynne is literally everything just aligned. So I'm so grateful for everything that has come through this. We are 7 months in, almost 7 months in. And so it just feels so great to know that pretty much a year ago, we had this conversation, and here we are. So
y'all didn't waste no time. I love that. See, I know Miss Ketlynne is a Spelmanite. So can you guys tell me how, you're attending maybe an HBCU help influence that, and maybe what you learn and what you bring from that experience to this one?
Oh my goodness. I think that's such a good question because, as Lou knows, I am Haitian American, so brought up proud Haitian. And the decision to go to an HBCU was really just, I had a cousin that went there. It was the only one that I decided to apply to. And it made me understand the interconnectedness of the African diaspora. Growing up, our neighborhood in New York is West Indian. We are a lot of first generation. We are like, yeah, American, but what language do you speak? Where's your parents from, right? But going to an HBCU, specifically Spelman, we were required to take courses that dealt in the connectedness of the African diaspora, that really connected and made me understand that our struggles are not separate. we actually are all part of the global South, and we achieve further together. So that was my unique perspective in coming in, and I want to let Tashawn tell hers because
So I love that. So I went to Ketlynne University, and I have to be honest and give credit where credit is due, because my journey in Blackness and Pan-Africanness and just really being as concrete, I think, as I could be in what it means to be Black, and have that Pan-African connection started when I was probably 2. I went to what is very unique. I realized as I am now an adult and a parent how unique my early childhood education was. But I went to a school called African People's Action School in Trenton, New Jersey. And it was founded by my uncle and some of his friends. They were a part of something called the African People's Action Movement. They said enough is enough. Who's supposed to educate our kids but us? And they started a school. And some of them kind of had a little experience with kids, but they weren't all even certified teachers when they started. So it started in the basement of a church. And actually the school itself had no religious ties, which is another super amazing connectivity thing that I learned from that. But everything was honored equally. People were from all different backgrounds, but we were all united in our Blackness. And from the very beginning, the only history I had was Black history, right? I didn't have colorism issues because Blackness looks like everything, right? There is no specific thing that Blackness is, right? Blackness is all the things. And so I just think that I know that I can credit African People's Action School in a classroom with 2 other grades and 1 mama and 1 baba teaching classes, that's what taught me what I know and inherently is who I am. I don't know anything else. So
that is amazing.
I must also say that Tashawn was instrumental in my understanding of that because of how strong she is in her Blackness. I understood it academically, but to live it and to speak it, that is something that through conversations, tough, beautiful, amazing, her strength and her Blackness really made me understand that this is something that we need. Everyone else doesn't know. So.
I will say that it was definitely, growing up, it could be hard when I was outside of my little Pan-African Shule bubble. It was hard sometimes when people around you didn't know, right? And you were that kid in the African clothes or, the different things. But I think it also really shaped, everyone might not be where you are, but it's imperative that we all get there, right? And our destination is dependent on all of us getting there. It can't just be me. I can't be on the island by myself. It means nothing if it's not all of us. So.
Just getting some tweets right now.
So I'm inspired. I can't because I can't even imagine what that would be like growing up. And especially back then when I feel like now everything is pro-Black, pro-African, going natural, doing this, whatever. Back then, forget it.
Baby.
Being strong and resolute in it, even 20 years ago is a lot. And I mean, thankfully there's always been a group or, a person or whoever to help lead that and to continue that so that, we can continue and, do it together and you're not on an island by yourself. So I love that. So tell us.
They're out here, you guys. I think that's awesome. I think that they're out here. There's small groups, but thank God for them. You know what I mean? Thank God that they stay diligent because they keep me grounded too. So it's good to know that we'll get there. It's gonna be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us more about the program. Where do you serve and who does it serve and the goals of it and everything like that?
So we're located in Burlington County, New Jersey. And we serve children who are in middle school, high school, and honestly, we have kids who are, I think, as young as 6.
Ooh.
I think 5. I think.
Is that right?
I think she's 5. She's going to be 6 this year.
Okay.
She saw us in the window and refused to stay out and was like, I'm part of the part. So she's in the program.
Yeah. She'll be running the show by the time she's grown.
She will.
But for real though, that's no cap. In the words of the young people, no cap.
Yes, they're awesome. So they are amazing people, and I think that I know the intention. So when we started, we kind of didn't have a specific location, right? Because we're like, this is needed everywhere,
right?
We kind of sat down and we said, all right, so where are we going to start? And I said, well, I know where I live is Burlington County. And I said, my kids go to school in Burlington County. And it's not the city, so it falls outside of where most people set up programs that address this group of children, right? So Black kids who are school age, like most of those programs happen in New Jersey, in the major cities. So like Newark, Trenton, Camden. We don't live there. We live about 30 minutes from the closest place. And what happens is people assume that if you live in the suburbs, it's all together. That's not a real thing. And I think, as a matter of fact, because you're in the suburbs, you realize that you don't have access to some things that are fundamentally and culturally significant, right? To how you view yourself, to how you view the world around you, and how you navigate those things. And I think that when we're in the cities and we have other people who look like us, who are teachers, who are doctors, who are, all the things, they own businesses. Well, you move us out to the suburbs, and where is that, right? Where does that exist? And it seems even further away from your reality, right? That sounds like a myth. And so I think that it's a unique set of challenges that exist in the suburbs that has been ignored for a really long time. I used to have the benefit of going to programming, but my mom used to find a friend and borrow an address, right? And I used to have to say I lived in the city to go to the programming that changed my life, So I think that it's very important that it be okay to be in these spaces, but still crave, those culturally significant things.
You are preaching to me right now. Because for those who are familiar with New York, like I grew up in Queens and then moving out to, Long Island. So that's like the suburbs. I mean, some people might even call certain parts of Queens the suburbs, And yes, you can have a multitude of programs, but I don't live in Brooklyn. I don't live in Harlem. I don't live in certain parts of Queens that are close where those kind of programs are offered, And so, yes, there is, that disconnect. And if anything, you almost feel like they need it more because they really don't see it. It's not as, robust, and you are just, you don't have that community the same way. And I think it's perfect. That it's in the burbs because they wouldn't get it otherwise,
Yeah.
Yep.
And one can assume because, maybe you have grass and a lawn and a backyard that your parents have the means to bring you to those places and can afford those kind of things that would be given into what they would call the inner city because, there is an abundance.
Yeah.
Or they think you don't even need it. They think because your family has a certain amount of money that you don't need to then still be grounded in your identity, your Blackness, and all the beautiful things that exist from there. So
it's true. Sure. I think the pressure to assimilate is like insane, right? Like, I mean, wow, it's to see it. I think even now, I almost feel like I don't know if it's worse now or I just see it from a different lens. and feels worse now. And maybe it's like the social media thing, because when I was a kid, there wasn't social media. So maybe that's part of it. But the pressure for kids to assimilate and just ignore all of those things, right, is just overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe because, there's less diversity, so they're maybe understanding of what Black is or what can be and look like is very different. And if you're only looking to, social media and what you see on TV, it's going to be very limited. And especially when it comes to children, you want to open their minds to the possibilities of the many things that we can become. So kudos to y'all.
Thank you. I'm literally we're trying to design the things that we've craved and that we see that the kids are missing.
Yes. So what are the kind of activities and things that you teach the children?
Oh my goodness. Well, we do so much. Okay, no, I'm joking. So our tenets, we really harp on certain tenets. Obviously, diasporic history is one of our major foundational pillars. We are also teaching financial literacy. We are teaching, yes, honey, that's a whole nother. And we are teaching about mental health, really being able to understand what it is that you need to be healthy and stay grounded, essentially. We are also doing creative arts, where we are introducing them to both dance and music, because that just evokes another sense of courage and confidence in our young people. And we are teaching entrepreneurship. So we have a lot wrapped up into our activities. And we've been doing programming throughout the year. So we had a Halloween movie night, which was so much fun, where the kids just got to come together and fellowship. How could I skip the summer program? Oh my gosh. How did I do that? So we actually had our official launch 1 month after we incorporated. We had an official 5-day summer program where we had guest speakers come in and discuss their journey through entrepreneurship. We had specialists in mental health, special art guests that really came in and performed different activities with the kids to encourage them. And we engage in mentorship conversations. We discuss, what does it look like to be Black in America? What are the stories that we really don't ever get to hear? We talked about Imhotep. We talked about what it looked like when Blacks were actually running up and through Europe, right? And were actually taking over lands. Conversations that the students never have. And we followed up throughout the year. We had a movie night for the kids to fellowship. We had a Kwanzaa day that celebrated the 7 tenets of Kwanzaa and all of the beautifulness. They did dance, they did drum, they drew. We had discussions. They created business plans for how they can help their communities and what they can use to do that. Our students also engaged in a day of service for MLK in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where they supported some elderly and gave them just some youthful energy. We have a trip actually happening to the Paul Robeson house, which I'm going to let Tashawn, because she knows all about Paul Robeson. I just learned about him, a local hero. And we're having a Black History movie night concerning Hidden Figures, where we're discussing with the kids about local heroes, right? Katherine Johnson has family and is from the area. We never talk about that. So that's just some of our programming that's coming in the immediate future. And our ultimate will be a fall mentoring program where we meet with the students twice monthly. And we get to do this on a regular basis. We get to see them and just talk them through their journeys. Did I miss anything in the immediate, Tashawn?
No. That's another thing. But yes, that's our programming. I think as I listened to you talk about the program, I was like,
Y'all doing it. A 7-month-old. I love this.
But definitely, that is because the genius, right? The education genius that Ketlynne Joseph is. Like, sincerely, this woman packed all of that structure, but then figures out how to add experience. So these kids leave with this information because it's tied to something they physically engaged in. It's amazing to watch her plan out. Okay, well, oh no, she's like, oh, well, we have time to add this in. Okay, well, we got to make sure she's amazing. So I'm so grateful. Ketlynne is definitely like a teacher I wish my children had,
Right.
So man, if my kids had a Miss Joseph, right, maybe we wouldn't be here. Everything for a reason, but there is no Miss Joseph in any of my children's schools. And I think that is the thing. She's amazing. So that Kwanzaa Day was all the things. We literally tackled all of that. And I think they were with us from, 6 hours, 7 hours?
6.5 hours. It was an all-day event.
That's like a whole school day.
It was a whole school day. And I think they left with more than, I know my kids come home and tell me that, no, just say that they're not learning anything. But just they more. It's foreign language. Like if we're really technical about the thing, we hit them at the door with all kinds of languages. We speak to them. So Kwanzaa, there was Swahili spoken, right? There was what's Ashe?
Tweet.
It's Tweet. Yeah, It's Tweet. These are from totally different countries. So it just amazes me what they're able to take in. They are awesome. It's awesome to watch them come with these plates and leave full. It's amazing.
Oof.
And I want Sean to really talk about Paul Robeson because, yes, I love to program, but this one right here, knowing about the Blackness and putting us all on. She connects with these different organizations. Oh my gosh, how could I forget the Wind Down? I'm forgetting events. We have events happening. But I'm going to let, yes. Yeah.
We're talking about that because we were programming. So I was like, let's do something.
But this one, she makes amazing connections. So please.
So Paul Robeson was from New Jersey. Went to Princeton University, was a performer, was an actor, and was just at the top, at the height of recognition, at the height of his career when he said, but as a Black man, I'm not seen, and I just can truly, I'm amazed that in a time when it would have been so easy for him to say, listen, I know my people are not being seen for what they are. And I know that I'm not being given all the credit, but this money looks really good, right? I'm being, regaled and regaled all over the world. And at a point where he could have chosen something else and I don't think anyone would have blamed him. He stepped away from absolutely everything and went into exile and said, absolutely not. If you're not going to do it this way, it's not going to be done. The world won't benefit from my gifts. And so I just think it's amazing, his story, but I also love the fact that he's a local hero. And that his story of activism, right? When a time when, again, he didn't have to be an activist and no one was going to be upset about it, And so we're going to go visit his home in Philadelphia. And I wanted to specifically go to the home in Philadelphia because it's in a Black community, a predominantly Black community in Philadelphia. Princeton is not that, and it is closer. We're going to go there. But I wanted them to see the effect that Paul Robeson had on his community to the point where he's still got a museum in that community today, right? Mm-hmm. And I wanted them to see just the effect that he had on his people. And he died pretty much penniless, and so I think that it's so important that money's not everything, right? He may have died penniless, but his legacy lives on through the choices he made. So I just want them to see that. I'm super excited for it, actually.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
That's amazing. And I just want to say how I'm just excited you guys have this program because it's just so needed. Because for example, me, I lived in a predominantly Black neighborhood. All my teachers are white. So all my teachers are white. So to be around people who I see as students, but I wasn't teaching what I wanted to learn. And to hear the program of the different classes that you guys have is just, my heart is full and it's so needed in the community. I just wanted to just put that out there too as well, especially in the suburbs, you know?
And we don't exclude anybody. Like, we take all the kids, right? So some of our kids are from the inner city. I would never, and I know Ketlynne would absolutely never look at a child and say, well, see where your house is. You're not going to be, that is not what we preach, like, for sure. But we wanted it to be something that was not restrictive. And so, yes, we're in Burlington County, and it's always going to be our intention to center ourselves there. But I definitely want just children to come and really get to experience.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an experience that they will forever have and cherish. And I think because it's not the, the big figures that everyone knows, thankful for them, but, not everyone is or needs to be a Malcolm X or a Martin Luther King or a Rosa Parks, you know what I mean? And so when you're showing the Paul Robesons and, the Katherine Johnsons, and you can show them the tangible, effects that, what they did with their lives, they can see it in themselves. And when you send them out to do those projects, they can see how you can make those different changes. And I love that. So I know you, Miss Ketlynne, have a background in education. Deshawn, can you tell us where you're coming from and where you bring your gifts from?
So I am a special education advocate. I'm also a mom. So a lot of, I think, a lot of what I do, I think, just comes from that, right? So I am always thinking about things through the lens of a parent, what I want to see for my kids, what I want to see for their friends. And definitely as a special education advocate, we are so intentional about all of our programming being inclusive. And it is the inclusion space of my dreams is what Ubuntu Learners is. And so for our summer program, 85% of the students in our summer program were neurodivergent. And there was not one moment where we had to stop programming, where anyone received anything less. And honestly, I think everyone benefited from being able to be in that space and learn that, it takes all of this. Like, it takes this person's need for me to realize that helps me too. Like, that works. That movement break, I needed that. I'm so used to sitting in a classroom all day and dealing with it. But I do feel better. I'm able to take in more when I'm able to get up and move around. So I love that.
And I don't think that's talked about enough. I don't think people realize it enough. And even just those little things, because, you can't expect, you're giving all this knowledge and information and they're just supposed to sit there, the regular educational system, and then just get it and, sit and no, you're speaking to my heart. I love how the combination of each of your gifts come together to make something amazing for these kids, and they're essentially giving back to you as well.
They are.
Every day, every time.
They have become like this whole little family, this whole little family of ours. I love it.
Yes. So tell us about this wind down.
I mean,
so the Wind Down Philadelphia is a Black woman-owned business. The owner is Chanel Wilson, and she's amazing.
Also an educator, by the way.
Yes, yes, she's an educator as well. She has traveled the continent, and that has been just so impactful in her life. And so during her travels in South Africa, she learned all the things about wine, and then came home and said, you know what? Black people need to know about wine and like the impact that other Black people have in this industry that no one's talking about when I'm at home. So she created the Wine Down Philadelphia. She's amazing. And so she has partnered with us, and she's doing this fundraiser with us for Ubuntu Learners. And we are going to do a virtual wine tasting. So everyone who purchases one of our spots gets to come and experience 4 wines that are sourced from local Black-owned businesses. So some, oh my gosh, so we have Delaware, we have Pennsylvania, and we have Maryland. So it's amazing to just see. First of all, I didn't know any of these companies existed before we did this. So I'm so grateful to Chanel for doing this with us. I'm excited to learn more. I legitimately know almost nothing. Only what she's taught me. Only what she's taught me. And I can say that I'm excited. So with each ticket, you're supporting, what is it at the count right now? 7?
Yes, I think it was 7 minority-owned businesses.
Yes. So every ticket supports 7 minority-owned businesses. So, and obviously helps us fund our fall mentorship program. And that's where all the money goes. Legitimately, we do not take any fees. We're not being paid for this. We just literally, it's a labor of love. I just couldn't imagine us not doing it, you know, especially at this point when we've seen the impact it's had on these kids. Like, they definitely are always like, where are we meeting again? They all know our numbers and our faces, and they make us accountable. They want to know when we're doing more. So that's what it's all about, I think. Did I miss anything? Oh, charcuterie. There's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff. So you get wine, you get Chanel is coming up with customized charcuterie that goes with the wine that you'll be tasting. And the upper level packages, you get custom glasses and some other awesome items. So, and there's like a dessert from a Black-owned company. So go for it. Get a ticket. Hang out with us.
Yes. Please tell us where we can find all this information and reach out and support and help fundraise. Let us know.
Well, we have a few different ways that you can keep in contact with us. Our first and most popular is on social media. So if you go to any of your social media, IG, Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we'll be on TikTok soon. Ubuntu Learners. You can spell it UBUNTU LERNERS, Ubuntu Learners. And you can go to our website, www.ubuntulearners.org. And if you want to email us directly, you can email info@ubuntulearners.org. Did I miss anything?
Oh, and our tickets are on Eventbrite. Did you say that?
Our tickets are available on Eventbrite. Should I say the link? I don't know. It's a long link.
No, well, you know, follow us on Eventbrite.
Yes, follow us. That makes sense.
Yeah, follow us on Eventbrite. All of our programming we put up there. Anything, the Paul Robeson trip actually, which has limited spots, and so does the Wind Down event actually. So follow us. You'll see all the stuff we're doing. That we sell tickets to the public too.
I love that. I love that. So I am so thankful that you guys could join us to put us on. We love what you're doing. We will be here to support you and, you know, check on your progress, you know, enjoy some wine in the meantime. Let's get into it. So yes, I'm just happy you guys were able to join us and excited to see the amazing things and, you know, to see, you know, when more Ubuntus pop up and maybe y'all take a trip to the continent with the kids, you know, sky's the limit. Can't wait.
How does she know what we're doing?
I was going to say, does she know that we're going to go see, we are planning a trip for next year actually to come to the Geechee neighborhoods of South Carolina, which were a major hub of resistance, the Gullah Geechee. So that will be happening. And the continent is in the works. So how'd you know?
I just felt it in my spirit.
You felt it?
Yeah.
We have big dreams, and it's going to happen. So thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for doing what you guys do. I have had the benefit of watching several of your episodes, and I am so excited about what you're doing. I love every single solitary thing about it. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes, listen, we'll do this again because we want to see the progress. I know the people are going to want to see it, and
Oh my gosh.
this is wonderful.
Thank you.
So guys, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, post, repost, tell a friend. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Bye.